Hi, Bashar. Great to see you.
Good day.
I have some questions on entities. First one is I was told a month ago that I had two entities on
Two
me.
entities doing what?
Effectively pulling off my energy, sapping my energy.
Why would they do that? Perhaps the more important
That's kind of my question.
Perhaps the more important question, why would you believe they have the ability to do that?
Well, I guess that has to do a little bit with definition of what is an entity. And my own definition is it's an energy form that is essentially a negative energy.
No, that is not the definition of the term entity. Entity is simply a focus of consciousness of any type and any variation. You are an entity. I am an entity. Everyone in the room with you is an entity of sorts. Entities can be physical, non-physical, ultra-dimensional, anything. Entity is simply an overall general term. There are entities that are focused in negative energy. There are entities that are focused in positive energy. Yes. If you are referring to the idea of these entities as being focused in the negative energy, then it must be specifically stated that that is what you feel.
Okay, that's what I meant. Yes, I thought that all entities were that way, but these were negative energies.
However,
particularly,
my question still stands as being the paramount question. Why would you believe that they have the capability of doing so?
I was told that they did by somebody who's a lot more psychic than I am.
But you fell into fear.
Yes, well, the person removed the entity, so one of my questions...
That person cannot remove anything that is connected with your process. Only you can. They can help, they can suggest, they can, in a sense, work to suggest a creative energy or a environment or a level of energy or frequency that would represent your inability to interact with negative entities, but they cannot remove them, only you can. And in that you are now bringing this question up, I would suggest that in some level, what is simply being pointed out is that there are certain definitions within you that are causing fear that would, by definition, then allow you to remain on a negative energy level and have a better chance of associating with other entities of a similar wavelength. Did you follow that?
Yes, and when you say fear, I guess,
Yeah,
may I just add, there is a fear which sort of says, in the past, I have always felt that there are no negative entities around me, partly because I somehow associate negative entities as being involved with people that are involved with alcohol, drugs, or some of those things that are more easily accessible than I am. I'm not involved with those.
It doesn't have to be connected to any of those particular things on your planet in order for it to be negative. There are many other reasons that entities choose to be negative in out creation. But the idea is the question is, what is your fear? What is your fear?
My fear is really, it was a total surprise that there would be a negative entity about me, okay?
But the point is that you're focusing on.
Yes. Well,
so what's your fear?
That effectively is stopping or slowing down my healing.
All right. And why do you believe in this definition as being true?
Well, again, the person I was working with said that specifically...
Don't pawn it off on them. No matter what they said, why are you buying into it? When individuals say things like that to you, they are in some senses doing you the service of deciding whether or not that's something you're going to buy into. Now, sometimes an individual will, because of their own agendas, perceive things that way. Sometimes they will simply perceive objectively what may be going on in reading your energy, but that's really not the point. Whether they are projecting their own fears on you, interpreting something negatively that doesn't need to be interpreted that way, or whether they are actually perceiving something that is truly going on, doesn't matter, really, fundamentally. Because the way to transform either of those issues is the same. And that is, once the idea has been brought to your attention, whether it's actually happening or not, the question that remains and the only issue at hand is, what do you think about that? What do you feel about that? Is it real for you, or are you able to use it as an opportunity to decide that it isn't real for you? That's the question. So, if it illuminates that you might have a doubt or a fear, that something of that nature has more power over your life than you do, then that is the reason why someone would bring that to your attention, and they may have psychically sensed that you needed to have it brought to your attention in order to point out to you that you are still willing to give your power over to that kind of an idea. And that in and of itself then is the meaning of dealing with a negative entity. Does that make some sense to you?
Yes, I hear you. And I guess if I may ask some more questions along these lines, it's that I was never particularly sensitive to protecting myself from negative energies.
I understand that, but the point is that we're having this discussion. And therefore what you are implying is that at this point, no matter what has gone before, you have allowed yourself to experience the concept you call doubt. My question is, if you didn't experience this before, why are you experiencing it now?
Primarily because, again, one of my primary focuses in life is right now is my healing. So my body is in good shape. And it still is not.
But the idea is that you're still using this concept as a furthering of the reason why you feel you are not healing. The point is that what has been pointed out to you is that there is still within you a belief system structure that allows you to experience the giving away of your power, and that act in and of itself is responsible for anything that you may perceive as a lack of healing within you. It is a self-fulfilling energy, a self-contained loop. Does this make any sense to you?
Yes, I hear you.
Are you sure?
Well, yes. If I may
please do.
Repeat you.
Yes.
It's that I don't have the confidence that I can heal myself. And I'm looking for scapegoats, you might say. And a negative energy would be a scapegoat to say, well, it's that thing that's causing it. And again, it just substantiates that I don't have the confidence to heal myself.
In some senses, but I would not necessarily put it that way. It is not a lack of confidence. What is being said is you are making a choice to buy into that frame of mind. It has nothing at all to do with a lack of confidence. Do you understand the difference? The idea is that none of you lack anything. You don't lack confidence. You don't lack trust. You don't lack ability. You don't lack power. None of you are lacking anything. You all have sufficient power to do anything. Therefore, the issue at hand is there might be definitions within you that are allowing you to be motivated to make certain choices, to believe a certain way. That is not the same thing as lacking confidence. That is saying that for your own reasons you have unconsciously bought into, you are making a choice in that direction. That's not a lack of confidence. That's a choice. Does that make sense? Do you see the difference?
I hear you. So then my question is, how do I change my choice? How do I...
All right.
On one level,
Thank you. The first step is to acknowledge and recognize that this is what has been presented to you. That it is nothing but an opportunity to recognize that fact, that you are capable of making choices. If someone says to you, all right, I perceive you have 5,287 and a half negative entities sucking all your energy away, and that's why you are not healing. That is, for you, nothing but a choice to buy into or to say, that is not a reflection of who I prefer to be. To think that way, to see life in that light, is not an equation that has to do with me. Now, if in fact that is what I am doing, is giving my power away, then being told this is an opportunity to instantaneously and immediately be put in touch with the fact that that's what I'm doing, and to understand that I am choosing now to do something different. And so that whole concept of being sucked dry by a negative entity now has nothing to do with me. And if there is still something else going on, then it is something else. If there is still some effect that I'm experiencing that is not what I prefer, it's something else. And I have now an opportunity to know what it is not, which is one more way, one step closer to discovering what it is. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes sense.
but not really.
Well, no, what you say makes sense. I'm still trying to get in touch with what do I do now.
You don't know how to apply what I am saying.
Yeah.
All right. Describe again the idea of what you perceive to be your need for healing.
My need for healing on the physical level, I'm talking about both the physical and the emotional, by the way.
Yes, well, it always starts in some senses on the emotional level. What is the physical manifestation?
The physical manifestation is that my body has what our traditional medical system analyzes as MS, which is effectively a nervous system, muscular system impact, so that I feel clumsy and I'm not as dexterous as I used to be and things like that.
All right. Now, the idea in general, not in all cases, and everything will have to be specific according to each specific person, but the idea in general of what your people call MS is actually a high degree of toxicity that is impinging upon the neurological system. Yes. But it is toxicity. It has to do with the idea of cleansing of the system, alignment of the energies of the system, clearing the cellular structure and neurological structure of the system as best as you can in natural ways, preferably. The idea is, again, connecting it to the emotional body, the clearing of that system. Can you, in any way, shape, or form, pinpoint the idea of dis-ease on the emotional level?
On the emotional level,
Yes.
I am not very much in touch with my feelings. I'm not very sensitive. I don't allow my feelings to come through very much. My mind basically...
And what do you fear would happen if they did?
I feel
What is the fear? What is the toxic belief that is festering within you that says if I allow myself to express my emotions, it means this, A, B, C, X, Y, Z. This will happen, and I'm afraid of having that happen. What is that? Can you pinpoint it in words?
It's essentially that I'm out of control of my life, that other people will take advantage of me, that they will not love me, and those kinds of things.
All right, very good. Thank you for your honesty. Is it any wonder with this kind of a belief that you would attract yourself to someone who would tell you that this is already being done on a spiritual level? Do you get the point?
No, I didn't get that.
You have attracted yourself to someone who is telling you that what it is you fear the most will happen is already happening. Entities are sucking your energy, taking advantage of you. Do you understand? That's what you have just said you are afraid will happen if you do express your emotionality, but suddenly you find yourself going to someone who tells you it's already happening. Whether you express your emotionality or not, it's already happening.